Wonder Wheel is the latest from writer-director Woody Allen, stars Kate Winslet, Justin Timberlake, Jim Belushi, and Juno. It's set in the 1950s in Coney Island, and we are told this story by a lifeguard played by Justin Timberlake, who has an affair with a waitress played by Kate Winslet, who is in her turn married to carousel worker Jim Belushi, who one day receives his estranged daughter in his home after 5 years spent away from her with no contact. These stories are all interconnected and they play with each other throughout to create classic Hollywood melodrama. And that's exactly what this film is, classic Hollywood melodrama. And it is also a thriller in a sense, it is also a tragedy, and it is a dark comedy. This film will have a lot of laughs. It has a lot of laughs. There are very funny scenes, very funny interactions, and the way it is about it is very interesting because, again, mainly it is a tragedy. That's how I would describe it, because everything about these characters is tragic. They are tragic characters in a tragic narrative. It features all the classic elements that make a story a tragedy, and you will see that in this film. But what is interesting about it is that at its backdrop, it has this glossy, sugary, cotton candy look to it that is the Coney Island Fair. And it is all very beautiful. I mean, the color correction in this film is ridiculous. The colors in this film are absolutely insane. The bright, strong, intense oranges to the smoothing blues, to the way the color fades in and out of the frame in a single shot to set the mood and intent of a scene. There is one scene in this film that is one take. It is with Kate Winslet and Justin Timberlake. They are talking, the camera is moving around inside this one little house that is Kate Winslet's house, and she has this incredibly delivered monologue that is so telling to the rest of the film and to her character. But the way the camera moves and the way the color works in here specifically and the way the lighting works, not only here but throughout the film, the combination of color, cinematography, lighting, direction, the camera work, it is all fabulous. It stunned me. It made my jaw drop how much work went into it and how well it worked. It is beyond any description to tell you how well every composite in here works. You really have to see it for yourself. But speaking of Kate Winslet, let's talk about her. She delivers one of the best performances in her career, one of the best performances I have seen from her in recent years. This is a tremendous work by this woman. Every line of dialogue from her is interesting. Every look of her is interesting. There's nothing that doesn't immediately gravitate you toward her character, because Kate Winslet is intense, she is moving, she goes through a wide range of emotions and she displays them all fantastically so. And the acting all around it is great. Jim Belushi is fabulous. Juno is also great. The kid who plays the son of Kate Winslet from a previous marriage is fantastic. Justin Timberlake probably has his best performance in his career here, and he is very much the Woody Allen guy. You can tell that this guy is very Woody Allen. The way he speaks, his mannerisms, his words, how he delivers them, and he is the narrator for this film. He is a lifeguard who wants to be a dramatologist. He wants to be a writer for plays, and you can very much sense in this film that sometimes it can feel too much like a play at its own detriment. There are some scenes in the film that play out just like a play on stage, and that sometimes works, but for the most part it is a little bit too much for the film. Because the film itself, although it has many qualities in acting and its technical aspects, because the writing, although it can be profound and have something interesting to say and says it in an interesting way, telling this dark comedy that is a tragedy against this beautiful backdrop, setting an ironic tone to the film overall, it sometimes is a little bit too self-aware of itself, but not in a good way. It feels like Woody Allen is a little bit too self-aware of himself. He is critiquing himself, but he thinks himself a little too smart because he is critiquing himself and showing that critique to you, the audience, making himself a little too highbrow. This is a good work from him. I'm not going to say otherwise. I enjoy this film because it is very well written despite all its flaws. The technical aspects make this movie shine. The acting performances are all fabulous, but it lacks one distinct characteristic that is essential in a tragedy, and that is that you should feel for the characters. You should feel emotion toward these characters. You should like these characters, and you like no one in this film. You have a woman who, yes, is going through a lot of stuff. She is having an affair. She is not happy with her marriage. She has now this girl that comes into her life and comes with a lot of danger lurking behind her because she's running away from her ex-husband who is a gangster. And she has this kid who constantly misses school to go to the movies and sets fires in random places. And that's all you know from the kid, honestly. You have this lifeguard who's a cheater and thinks a little too much of himself. See a pattern here? You have Jim Belushi, who's a drunk who doesn't care for his wife, and then he does care for his wife, and he doesn't make enough money to support his family, and then he just cares about his estranged daughter that suddenly comes back to his life. And then you have his daughter, who's just a floozy who falls for anyone and everyone just like that. But as I said, I had an enjoyable time. I laughed when I was supposed to laugh. I loved the stunning look of this film. I love how it is about the tragedy itself against this glossy background that just comes out of the screen screaming, and you cannot ignore it. Beautifully shot with great dialogue and well-delivered dialogue, fabulous performances all around. Wonder Wheel has issues in its script, and not necessarily in the story it's trying to say, but in the different elements that it's trying to insert into this tragic narrative that is the Woody Allen-ness of it, if you will. But despite all my conflicting thoughts about Wonder Wheel, I will say, despite not being a very high one, it is a martini. A good time, anytime. What did you guys think about Wonder Wheel? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know, what is your favorite Woody Allen film? Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. You guys are the freaking best. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. Tomorrow, reviews for Only the Brave and Molly's Game, and after that, The Disaster Artist and Darkest Tower. Can't wait to see you there, and so until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so you can be geeky united!